Okay, so we get 2 non-limited artifact selector tickets. So let's go over what you should and shouldn't pick from the list. So first down here, we're going to put not available. Not available are going to be collaboration artifacts, limited artifacts, and of course, special event artifacts. Let's go ahead and let's glean those out of the list first. So those are the limited artifacts. You cannot get those. So let's talk about the S tier. This is going to be your must-have tier. This is something where you're going to want multiples of them in a lot of cases. And these are going to be we'll just call this the solid use tier. This will be the mid or solid on 1 unit tier, right? So this is where the artifact is either kind of mediocre or it's only really good on like 1 unit. And this, we're just going to call this just bad. I mean, these are just bad. We're going to start with the most important. Elbrus Ritual Sword. Elbrus is so damn good. You're probably going to want multiples of these. I think it is hands down the most important non-limited unit artifact in the game. So many knights want this. Sigurd Scythe. Probably the most important warrior artifact in the game that's not limited. Multiple units want this. Multiple units rely on this. Surprisingly, I think you want multiple Abyssal Crowns. Control is so important and debuffs are so powerful in a modern meta. You want probably at least 2 of these. If you are running Thieves, you want the most important Thief artifact. It is an orphaned artifact. You'll only be able to get this through random summons or through class summons. So very important artifact to have on multiple units that are considered meta right now. Everybody needs one. You won't use it in PvP much, but every time some PvE comes along, Bloodstone is money. You want at least 1 Bloodstone. 2 is kind of luxury, but you want at least 1. I think with certain DPS mites being so brutal, Holy Sacrifice is kind of a must-have too. You want at least a couple of Holy Sacks. I don't know, breezing through this list, I think the only thing else worthy of a must-have column is Secret Art Storm Sword. It is too important to do awful things with speed BBKs, with Savior Oddens, with Selene and Spirit Eye Selene. So yeah, these are all must-haves. So let's get down to the solid use tier. What used to be really good, it's kind of fallen off a bit, is Golden Rose. And the reason is the meta has shifted away from HP scalers being a principal DPS. Shepherd of the Hollow, solid use, used on multiple thieves, worth picking up a couple. Bastion of Perlucia, surprisingly good on several knights, worth having. Oh, Doctor's Bag. I think you want at least 1, if not 2 Doctor's Bags. You will find multiple uses for this in PvE and on some PvP units. Edika's really good on several PvP and PvE units. A very good one to have. One you'd probably want multiples of. Celestine, orphaned artifact. I think it's a solid one. I think it's one you should have. I think it's good in multiple places. You could use it on haste. It's probably its primary use, but it's also good in some PvE content. Merciless Glutton. Good, strong DPS artifact. I think you want one on your account. And Uberous Tooth. We found a lot more uses for Uberous Tooth. ML Pera does awful things with it. You want one on a Miki for her to even function, and she's a very important unit. I think Fire Hua Young's going to make a comeback. She's going to want one. So Uberous Tooth's one that you're probably going to want and want multiples of. For PvE, I think it's kind of important to have a Rod of Amaryllis on your account. You'll find multiple uses for it. Not so much in RTA, but it's a staple artifact for PvE, and it's an orphaned artifact. Hard to get multiples of. Touch of Rekos, another very important PvE artifact. A lot of content's very difficult to do without it. Renewed Will. Absolutely busted good artifact. I wish I had it. This is one of the ones that I'm missing. That's kind of it, guys. This is it for your solid use and must-haves. I know it's going to really, throw sand in some people's knickers over this, but that's what I'm saying. Now let's get down to it's solid on 1 unit, or it's just kind of mid. Shamadra Staff. Really nice for boosting healing, predominantly a PvE artifact, but not super important. Unseen Observer, it's basically a tags book for rangers, and it works at plus 15. It's a good one to have multiples of. Bird's Eye is going to be our first niche artifact. There's only one unit that uses that, and it is Frida, but she uses it so incredibly well that it's one you want if you plan to run Frida. So this is solid on one unit, otherwise it's kind of mid. Time Matter is a great PvE artifact, especially if you're trying to accomplish certain things with Vivian. Very good to have. Spatiotemporal Fan's kind of mid, but it can be used to create specific comps that are stealth the way you want them. It's most popular on Sea Phantom Poly. Spear of Purification is only really good on ML Para, and only if you're running the non-Uberus variant. Song of Stars is kind of a mid artifact. Early on, Song of Stars is really heckin' good. It adds target, which lets you more damage, which will let you accomplish hunts easier. But with new units making hunts easier and easier and easier, I think the necessity of Song of Stars has gone down greatly. And there's nothing Song of Stars does that can't be overcome with just better gear. So Song of Stars will help you with situations where you feel gear gapped. But other than that, once you get past the point, once you can gear past Song of Stars, it's really not a used artifact anymore. Ask some of your friends who've been playing for over 2 years how many of them still use this artifact. It's going to be few and far between. I'm going to get some pushback on this one, but Durandal, just kind of mid. It's really nice on some specific niche situations where you need a warrior to cut after he's been hit several times. It's ideal for Fire Ken on doing Wyvern one-shot, but there's just so many good warrior artifacts out there. Durandal has fallen by the wayside. Double-Edged Decrescent. A lot of people think this thing is the best thing since sliced bread, but it's really only used on like 1 or 2 units. Everyone else probably is going to wind up using Shepherd of the Hollow instead. Dark Bloodkeeper, solid DPS artifact. Wish I had a copy of this one. I don't. Cloud Glory is really good on a whole slew of knights. It's just there's typically better options, but it's still usable. It's like the definition of mid, right? It's good, but you probably have other artifacts that are better. Just like Circus Fantasia, it's good, but you probably have other artifacts that are better. It's a nice stat stick for some effectiveness. Stella Harpa, great PvE artifact, but you can survive without it. It's probably best on Rowana. I don't think anybody other than Rowana really even uses it. Really, really, really good on Elegos and pretty much no one else. It's solid on one unit, mid on everyone else. Alexa's Basket. Alexa's Basket is kind of one of those mid artifacts. It's really good on BBK, but you probably want BBK on something else. It's really good on RB, but RB's not used that much, so it's solid on one unit, but mid on everyone else. Tempest Surin, it's really good on, but you can run Tempest Surin on other artifacts. Kayron, it's really good on, but you can run Kayron on other artifacts. A whole bunch of units that can use this, but have something better. The only unit that doesn't have something better is a speed RB, and that's who it's solid on. So that's why it's in this tier and not any higher. Used to be one of the most important artifacts in the game, but it's kind of in the shitter now. Little Queen's Huge Crown, very underestimated artifact, huge stat stick. The only reason it's not up here is because there's just so many other artifacts for warriors that are better. Lensonox Wrath, it's really good on Alencia and no one else. And honestly, Alencia is probably better off on Lethe's artifact. Oh, this one fell off a lot. So Rihanna and Luciella, it's not as terrible as you think, right? It still works. It's just if somebody procs an extra turn and it procs, those extra turns overlap and happen at the same time. So if you S2 ran, proc RNL, it means nothing because it procs its extra turn at the same time Ran also procs his extra turn. There's no extra turn stackings. But if Ran S3s and it procs, he gets an extra turn. And then if he S1s and it procs, he gets an extra turn. So it still kind of works, just not that good anymore. And also the units that it's used on just aren't used that much anymore. Rise of a Monarch, much like Alexa's Basket, it's really good on some knights, but knights have such good artifacts, it's just not used that much anymore. Wukong's artifact is really good on Wukong. Sacred Tree Branch is okay. It's a nice stat stick. It's good on Sharoon, I guess. This is a nice Thief DPS artifact if you're looking for some penetration, but penetration's kind of not so easy to use right now, so most people are using other Thief artifacts that give evasion and damage and don't rely on penetration. Elysiac Candle. Elysiac Candle is nice to add defense break to your kit, but other than that, it doesn't do a lot. I think most of the units who would use this choose to run other artifacts that are a little bit more reliable, just a little bit better. This one is a Guild War artifact and a really great way to piss people off and get accidental wins in Guild Wars. Not a lot of use outside of Guild Wars. Mostly it was used on Ice Shoe, and Ice Shoe isn't used that much anymore. This is another cheese artifact you can run on Tenebria or Spectre Tenebria. Those units aren't used that much anymore, and the cheese is kind of niche, so I was even hesitant to put it up here and not down here, but we're getting towards the end of this tier, right? Bloody Rose is only really used on effectiveness Zeos, and I think effectiveness Zeos are starting to fall off in favor of damage Zeos, so you're seeing this less and less. Pure White Trust is really, really good on ML Peyra and ML Teu, and that's pretty much it. It doesn't really have any other use in the game, but it's really solid on those two units. Alabastron is a PvE artifact. It's one of the few artifacts that can add defense break to a Thief's kit. Whenever PvE rolls out that requires debuffs or that utilizes haste, this finds a place. These I'm tempted to put in bad, but I'm going to go ahead and put them here because they're stat sticks, right? Where's my 2 stat stick artifacts? There is Black Hand of the Goddess for mages, and there is Manica of Control for thieves. All these is a way to give yourself some damage and add crit chance to a kit. So they're pretty nice when you just can't quite build the unit without the extra crit chance. And that's it. Now we're into our just bad artifacts list. I'm going to get pushback on this one, but this artifact I don't think is worth anything anymore. It's only good on Peyra, and Peyra is barely used anymore, and I think there are other artifacts you could replace it with. But some people are like, it's so good and I use Peyra all the time. Well, then you use it. You go for it. But I'm not recommending this to people. I'm sorry. Not going to happen. Any more than I'm going to recommend this. This used to be one of the most sought after artifacts for Rangers, but Rangers have gotten so much good stuff lately that nobody uses this artifact. Terrible. You use this artifact because you got nothing else to use. You know what else used to be meta and is terrible now? Frickin' Spirit's Breath. No one uses this. The only unit that uses this is Angel of Light Angelica, who's just objectively better on Etika Scepter. Every once in a while, you'll squeeze out some PvE stuff where you run this on Ice Luluka, and that's pretty much it. Last tea time, I know one guy that's using the hell out of this artifact with authority, but it is so niche that I can't even call it niche. It's like, of an entire niche, this is a niche of that niche. So no, I'm not going to recommend Last Tea Time. Wings of Light and Shadow is a stat stick. It's only really used on Brieg and barely on him. Twilight Calamity can let you cheese some certain mage things in Arena. Even that's barely done anymore. Ancient Dragon's Legacy, again, kind of an ancient tech that's not used much anymore. Beguiling Wings are terrible. Broken Will of the Priest is garbage. Border Coin is bad. Yes, Border Coin can be really nice on a fast Cerise. Or sorry, on a fast Conqueror Lilies. But nobody runs Conqueror Lilies anymore, and those that do don't run her on this. One of the worst artifacts in the game. One of the other worst artifacts in the game. I don't want to hear it, Baka, about how your Creation Destruction Lilies is awesome. This is a terrible artifact. This was theoretically really good on top model Luluka, but she's better on pretty much any other artifact. What mage are you going to put this on that you wouldn't just put Book on? This is a really nice DPS artifact, but there's just better ones. Not a lot of people running DPS Rangers out there that utilize this. There is some places where Glow Wings can be nice and useful, but they're few and far between, and you will 99% of the time reach for other artifacts. Homage to Taramon is just terrible. Idol's Cheer is very, very bad. Anybody tells me Idol's Cheer is really good, I'm like, where? Where is it really good? It's just not. I mean, it's just not. This artifact, the sun is set on this artifact, and it's just not really used anymore. Just like Indestructible Gators. I mean, it's kind of okay on Inferno Kawazu if you don't have Benimaru's Tachi. Then Indestructible Gators is probably best in slot on Inferno Kawazu, but other than that, doesn't really have a place. This is really good on Biblis, and you can replace it. This is really good nowhere. This is really good at pissing people off and making sure you don't get invited to parties. This is terrible. I think this is still summonable. Yuna is summonable, but this is terrible. Proof of Love is terrible. You think it would be really good on Fene, but she just is fine without it. Better with other things. Samsara Prayer Beads are terrible. Some people put them on their Abigail, especially if they didn't make multiple Proofs of Valor, but it's just not that good. Scroll of Shadows, bad. Spear of a New Dawn, only good on Green Senya. Green Senya, bad. Spear of Inferno, bad. Spear of Sadism, bad. Sword of Autumn Equips, terrible. Sword of Judgment, horrible. And Smilegate keeps giving them to me. I have so many of this garbage artifact. Bad artifact. Bad artifact. Bad artifact. And kind of bad artifact. There you go, guys. I think that's all of them. I don't think I missed any summonable artifacts. So there you go. That's my tier list for the non-limited artifacts. I hope this helps some of you guys out, gives you a little bit of clarity. If you have any questions, leave in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and get excited for April 14th. I know Origins is on the 10th, but the 14th is when we get the tickets. Take care, everybody.